Take your hobby to the next level with a quality racing rig that works great with a PS3, Xbox 360, and a PC. GT Omega Racing Simulator is compatible with a wide range of steering wheels including Logitech, Fanatec, Thrustmaster, and more. The GT Omega is available now worldwide by going to www.gtomegaracing.com.
Good evening, iRacers, and welcome to week 4 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. We are at Watkins Glen International Raceway in the state of New York. My name is Lee Thompson, and joining me as normal in the commentary booth is going to be Dean Prescott. Evening, Dean.
Good evening, Lee.
I'm looking forward to an action-packed race tonight. One of the most entertaining races generally at Watkins Glen that we see each season. So fingers crossed for a good one here as well. The session either is just loading up, and whilst it's doing that, we've got another track guide for you, brought to us very kindly from Giro Racing.
Hello and welcome to 4Racer IRA Track Guides. Today we are going to have a look at what can be considered a post-war birthplace of North American road racing. The track of course is Watkins Glen, or the Glen. Racing started at the Glen as early as 1948, but the original Grand Prix course was constructed in 1956. It was designed by Bill Millikan, who would later become known throughout the world for his works on race car dynamics. Like many post-war era tracks, the Glen has also gone through many changes, but its main character still remains. Fast corners with high banking allow the cars to maintain an average speed of 250 km per hour, which is very close to the average speeds of Monza. Due to the high speeds maintained through the track, a low downforce configuration will give the best result. However, high-speed grip shouldn't be sacrificed, so teams might experiment with stiffer suspension in order to maximize aerodynamic performance. There aren't that many hard-braking areas or hairpins, so some mechanical grip can be sacrificed for better high-speed handling. Our driver for today is Daniel Lopez. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Auli.
So Daniel, how do you like this track?
I think it's a very interesting track. Racing should be great here as there are very good chances to overtake always. And not to forget, I got my best result here in a World Champions Series race, so it's a place I like especially.
And what do you think are the best places for overtaking?
Best corners to overtake are probably turn 5, the carousel after the main straight, because draft is very good if you get close to the guy in turn 1, and also turn 8, which is the last of the boot. If you get close to the driver in front out of the toe, which is the previous turn, you will get a good run in this turn, and you risk a bit in the braking.
And now the lap itself.
Hi everybody, this is Daniel Lopez and I'll take you around Watkins Glen Classic Boot. First turn is a very fast right-hander in which line you should include the run-off area, because it will give you a very good advantage leading to the back straight. Take care always there of not losing control when going over the curve. After the back straight, you get to the carousel turn, taking an inside line through the first half of it, because it may be dangerous to go very wide at the seat. The turn 6 comes next to this, leading to the toe. It's important to let the car roll here after releasing the brake before pressing the throttle again. In the toe, you might want to take the repave area of the tarmac, as it will probably take you to a better line through the turn. After that, you get to the boot straight, and at the end of it, a slow right turn leading to the exit of the boot. It's important there to nail the braking point to not go wide. Turn 9 is a very difficult one because you have to be aware of the inside curve, not touching it, and of the on-throttle oversteer at exit. Turn 10 is a flat out one, and you will get soon to the turn 11. You have to release a bit the throttle to let the car get into the turn and take a good exit speed for the start-finish straight. And that is all. Thanks for watching, everybody.
And welcome back, iRacers. We are just moments away now from gridding up at Watkins Glen for week 4 of the iRacing Grand Prix Series. Just about time to quickly run you through the grid. Stephen Michaels pole position with a 1 minute 17.650. Alongside him is Marty Patella, so 2 World Championship drivers on the front row. Robin Friscop's in 3rd, Tommy Nilsson in 4th, dominant last week at Sebring. P5 is Mikko Meriletu. P6 is Jan Zalowski, P7 is Michael Goman, P8 is Lasbrin Hansen, P9 is Mohamed Patel, P10 is Michel Mancusi, P11 is Yunus Nukarinen, still not quite able to get that qualifying pace it seems. P12 is Ryosuke Iwasaki, P13 is Jorge Montanez, P14 is Justin Lindsay, P15 is Hunter Manley, P16 is Frank Levick, P17 is Christian Tanahato, P18 is Matt Hannigan, P19 is Yoni Hagner, P20 is Anthony Kopek, 21 is Harry Antilla, 22 is Scott McIntyre, 23 is Paul A. Nelson, and just as the timer runs out, P24 Wes Richards. Right, lights are going to be going green. And here we go, Stephen Michaels off the line from pole position. Looks pretty clean at the front. Stephen Michaels defends as he gets a little bit squirrely on the inside there. Marty Patella's got the line and moves into P1. A little bit of contact, a little bit of lag maybe behind. And we've got cars moving around in the background. Yeah, it's going to be several cars now involved in midfield there. So Marty Patella, P1 under lots and lots of pressure from Tommy Nilsson. What a great start from Tommy Nilsson. He's about to take the lead now as they head into the carousel. And Stephen Michaels right up alongside Marty Patella. Oh, Tommy Nilsson cuts across Marty, almost 3 wide as they come into the carousel. Marty Patella makes that place back. Tommy Nilsson slots in behind, and Stephen Michaels desperate to regain that first position that he'd lost off the line. Very, very close between the 3 of them there as they came into the carousel. So at the minute then, Marty Patella P1, Tommy Nilsson 2, Stephen Michaels 3, Jan Zalowski, good start from him in 4th, Michel Mancusi 5th, Nikarinen in 6th, Friscops in 7th, Robin Hansen in 8th, Hunter Manley 9th, and Matt Hannigan in 10th.
Yeah, unfortunately, Michael Gorman got caught up in Turn 1 incident. Michael, one of our quicker guys that we know of, so he'll be disappointed.
Yeah, on my end, it looked like it all just started from a little bit of closing speed on the back of Stephen Michaels, but a little bit of lag as well maybe as Marty Patella moves away from the cars in front, but Stephen Michaels now looks like he's made that position on Tommy Nilsson, so Stephen Michaels up into P2 as they went into the start-finish straight.
Yeah, Stephen and Marty, both pro guys, they should know the way around this track.
Yeah, and Yunus Nukarinen all over the back of Michel Mancusi as they head down the main straight. Mancusi goes tight to the right, tries to defend, so Nukarinen's going to have to go around the outside of the carousel. It's definitely doable. He's almost got the move done before they get into the corner, but Mancusi comes back in, holding that tight line. Yunus now is going to have the inside line for the next corner, and looks like that's a position made. So Nukarinen up into 5th place.
Yunus, another great driver. Learned a lot from his first season. He's back for second season. He's really improved.
Yeah,
it's what he can do.
It's just that little bit of qualifying pace that's missing here. He always has to do this hard work and come through the field from somewhere midfield generally, and means he's losing time in these first laps.
Also, a little bit further back, we've got Wes Richards looking around the outside of Frank, who's just lost that position. He's now under pressure again from Harry, coming around the final corner. There we go, lap 2. Start of lap 3.
And Wes Richards, of course, is the 3rd World Championship driver that we've got here in the race, along with Marty Patella and Stephen Michaels up front. So it looks like everyone's just pretty much strung out a little bit to start us off, so just settling in now into their rhythm, into their pace. Marty Patella is looking to make a little bit of a break for it up front, with Stephen Michaels trying to claw back that time. Jan Zalowski's doing a great job hanging into those front 4 cars. If he can stick with Tommy Nilsson for a good portion of this start of this race, he'll have a great result in his hands.
Stephen's actually in a new team this season, isn't he? It was
yeah, Twister Racing.
Guinness is starting to pull a little bit of a gap over Mikhail. Just ahead of him we've got Jan Zlowski, another one of our guys that we see here regularly on Sunday.
Yeah, and it looked very, very wide for Eunice there. Nicorin, as he came out the final corner right up against the wall. It looked like clattering over the outside curve, but just about got away with it, it seems. So having a quick look at the cars then that were involved in that first lap incident, or that first corner incident. The 4 cars that look like they're affected mostly are Robin Friscops, Mohammed Patel, Michael Goman and Ryosuke Iwasaki. So Robin Friscops is our overall points leader for the season so far, so that's a big hit for him. Missed opportunity to score some big points, and Patel and Goman of course are looking to be in those top 10 positions for pro at the end of the season. So that's 3 big names there out at the start. Looks like Tommy Nilsson's maybe just struggling a little bit in these early stages. I've seen him move around quite a bit coming out the exits of the corners, so whether he sustained a little bit of damage in that turn 1 or whether it's just a loose setup, but Jan Zalowski, if anything, is just closing slightly, whereas Stephen Michaels in front is just looking to creep away. We got a much longer race here this season than we did previously. So last season, 30 laps here at Watkins Glen. We've got a 44 lap race on our hands tonight. So that's a big leap in distance that we're going. Definitely a one-stop for everybody. And I think as we've been seeing develop over the last few races, we're likely to see that long first stint from lots of people in a short sprint at the end.
Yeah, so things are starting to spread out like you were saying, Lee. But this track, it's more open aero, so you're getting more top speed, or is it?
Yeah, again, a little bit of flexibility depending on your driving style, but yeah, we've been running -10 wicker here this week, and I said it's about maximising that top speed. If you can be in a draft to somebody, it's going to make a big difference pulling you all the way down that main straight. It's extremely quick circuit, of course, which is why it's one of the favourites of the drivers, but not that technically challenging. So actually we see in the qualifying times especially that there's not a huge amount of time between the cars. So if I ignore the 2 World Championship drivers at the front of the grid, here at our strength of field race, Robin Friscops was the quickest A-class qualifier with 17.8, and if you want to find an 18.8, we're all the way down to 19th, 20th position, so second between those top 20 cars. It's close times between these lot. Looks like Justin Lindsay's under a fair bit of pressure at the minute from Joni Hagner, so that's the 12th position. Joni Hagner's going to just need to get a clean run through turn 1 rather, and he can get a great run then down this main straight, and we'll see that toe in effect. Justin Lindsay's going to have a little bit of a toe from Anthony Kopak in front, but perhaps we'll find that Joni Hagner just has the edge. So as they come out the corner, Justin Lindsay doesn't really feel the need to defend, but Joni Hagner's closing his head down to the carousel, but it's not going to be enough for now. So that toe from the car in front was enough to keep Justin in that 12th position. So Jan Zalowski now all over the back of Tommy Nilsson. So Tommy Nilsson's dropped a couple of seconds now from Stephen Michaels, his teammate in front, and Jan Zalowski looks like the one to be on the move. So if he can just keep pressuring Tommy, I've said it doesn't look maybe like Tommy's particularly comfortable in this early stages. Jan Zalowski could well nab that 3rd position for now.
Yeah, that's a back marker just ahead of them as well, so...
Yeah, Jorge Montanez, I think he was caught up in that first lap incident as well, so he's just recovering. So the leaders are running in the mid-19s at the minute, so that's quick timings. That's going to really come down as a fuel level drops, and we're going to see these guys running pretty closely to their qualifying times by the time they come in for their pit stops, which is probably going to be around sort of lap 25 onwards, perhaps even closer to 30. So Tommy Nilsson still hasn't been able to clear Montanez yet, and he has to go up the inside into turn 6 there, and they're able to get through fairly cleanly. It doesn't look like Tommy Nilsson ended up losing any particular time. I did wonder if we were going to see Jonas Nickarinen closing on those cars in front. It looks like it's pretty stationary from when Jonas first got past Mancusi behind, but equally Mancusi is able to stick with him, and Lasse Brun-Hansen and Hunter Manley are both keeping up the pace with the leaders as well. So we've got, again, not much real time differences in between these leading cars. Again, it looks like Tommy Nilsson struggles coming out of the last couple of corners there as he starts to come down the start-finish straight for another lap on the grass, entering the final corner.
Also looks like Yanni Hagmer's got past Justin Lindsay, who's now coming under pressure from Wes Richards.
So it's going to be interesting to see between these front sort of 5-6 cars how much of a difference is going to be in their pit strategy, because that's really going to make quite a big effect then on where they end up coming out. We're going to be seeing quite a swing if somebody pits early and one other person pits late. So really going to see if these guys can just hang in for the first stint and see how it all develops. It's a fairly quiet race at the minute, Dean, isn't it? Everybody really strung out early off that first lap.
Yeah, we seem to have a odd little battle, but with it being this kind of track, it's very difficult to put pressure on, really, isn't it? So
it's actually not too bad to follow, really, in this on this track on this car. Yeah, you can stick in within a second or so of the car in front and not really be losing too much, if any, time. So I just watch Wes Richards have a little look up the inside of Justin Lindsay towards the end of the lap going into turn 9. It just thinks better of it for now.
Justin's just run a little bit wide though. And we'll give Richards a chance down the start finish.
Yeah, Wes was half a second quicker on that previous lap. Let's have a look at the differences on this next lap now. So for Justin Lindsay, that was a 21.6, and for Wes Richards now also was a 21.6. So perhaps he spent that whole lap in close proximity to Justin. Looked like a pretty good exit from both of them coming out of turn 1 there, but I think Wes may just get a run on Justin now. Already he's closing. Is Justin going to go defensive? He does. Just sits in the middle of the track. Wes is going to have to pick one direction or the other. So it's going to go up the inside into the carousel into turn 5, and it's going to hold that tight line pretty close between the two of them as they come enter and as they exit. But Wes Richards has got that move done. Justin Lindsay thinks about a move up the inside into turn 6, but has to settle back for now. So that's for P30.
Meanwhile, let's let Yanni actually pull away from that little battle, and he's now on the back of Anthony. So Yanni's definitely on the move. Driver for Glacier TV. Actually come together with his teammate at Silverstone, if I remember.
Yeah, you do indeed. Yuko Sevalainen, I believe it was. They both desperately trying to get out of each other's way, but no such issue today. So 10 laps gone. Let's have a quick run through the top 10. Marty Patella comfortably in front at the minute, a good few second gap, sort of 2-3 seconds over Stephen Michaels in P2. So the two World Championship drivers making a little bit of a break of it from Tommy Nilsson behind in third. Jan Zagłowski's just dropped off the back of Tommy ever so slightly as I see him sideways through turn 6. But still keeping him honest for now. Jonas Nickarinen in P5, Michel Mancusi in P6. He's dropped back quite a bit from Nickarinen now. I said he was hanging with him, and he's really falling into the clutches of Lasse Brun-Hansen behind in 7th. So that could be our next battle developing. P8, Hunter Manley. P9, Matt Hannigan. And P10 is Christian Tanahato. So yeah, I think we need to be watching Mancusi and Brun-Hansen. Let's see how that draft, that slipstream is going to be able to pull Brun-Hansen up to the back of Mancusi there.
I'm not too sure actually. It looks like Yanni's made it past Anthony, but it's also brought Wes into it as well. So we've got 3 guys here, all within a second of each other. Just coming around to start lap 11.
Yeah, and you can see the time that Wes Richards has made just on that one lap over Justin Lindsay behind since he made that move. It looked like a little bit of a scruffy exit out of turn 1 for Wes Richards in particular there. He really would have struggled to gain much momentum, especially with Kopek in front having the slipstream from Joni Hagner in front of him. But they're all going to concertina together as they head into the carousel into turn 5.
It's always been a question that's been on everybody's mind about turn 1 here at Watkins. But it doesn't actually penalise you to taking the wide line over the curb.
No, and if you watch real life racing at Watkins, they run out to that outside area as well, so I think it's quite right that iRacing don't have that as a penalty. You know, there's a couple of odd places on random tracks where over the years it's just been allowed, and that's how it is, that's the racing line.
So this battle seems to have stayed stationary at the minute. As Wes gets a little bit of a run on Anthony there. Definitely pushing his Wes.
Yeah, here we go, he's got a great exit coming out of that final corner. He's going to be up alongside as they head into turn 1. How much of a fight is Kopek going to put up? Here comes Wes Richards down the outside. Kopek does fight, hangs around to the outside. Richards is going to get a little bit of a better exit, I think, now. So Kopek held onto that position for now, but Richards may get a run on him coming into the carousel. Yeah, here comes Richards, closing. So he's going to look to perhaps dive up the inside just at the end of the straight maybe. Here he comes. Is Kopek going to hang around the outside again like he did at turn 1? A little bit backed off to start with maybe, but no, he's hanging in there. He's going to the inside line now for turn 6, but he relinquishes the place. So he was almost hanging up alongside, but yeah, he was right really. Richards had pretty much made the move by him.
That has allowed Joni to pull away a little bit as well.
It looks like Matt Hannigan perhaps has just had a little bit of a scruffy lap up ahead in P9, so he's got Christian Tanahato right up behind him now in P10, looking to make a move forward. And Brun Hansen has just dropped off the back a little bit of Mancusi, so that potential battle that might have developed has just called off for now.
So there still is a little main battle. Maybe just behind with Justin Lindsay, maybe. But it's good to see all of these cars actually in shot. Now I do believe congratulations are in order, Lee, for your first win in the FW31.
Wasn't my first win, I'm afraid, Dean. Thank you for that. But yeah, only in the second split. But yeah, I've had a reasonable week here at the Glen at Watkins. Looking fairly clean for the last couple of weeks. A bit happy with it. Unfortunately, had a little bit of an issue in the race just prior to this. But yeah, it's been a good week. Looking forward to Interlagos now next week as well. So whilst we have just this slightly quiet period, whilst we wait for perhaps the pit stops to kick in a few laps and see how the strategy plays out, let's have a quick reminder as to the current top 10 standings in our Road to Pro attempts for the A-Class drivers. So remember, this doesn't count any World Championship drivers who may have scored points. It's purely for these A-Class drivers looking to get pro for the end of the year. So, as of the end of last week at Sebring, Robin Friscops was our overall points leader. As he said, he's had a bit of a mare at the Strength race tonight. In second was Yunus Nikarinen, third was Michael Goman, and fourth was Ariel Eduardo Bernardi. He actually had the overall A-Class pole position this week at the Glen. In fifth was Jorge Montanez, so he's not had a good day either. In sixth was Mikko Merilotu, in seventh was Jukka Savalainen, in eighth is Jan Zalowski, ninth Tommy Nilsson, and 10th was Mohamed Patel. So those are our 10 cars which we've got a good handful here today, and a few who have had problems as well.
Yeah, Michael Gorman's in that list as well, so sure he's got some points for this week. If not, he's still got another race left to go. And just as he was going through the orderly, of the current standings. Justin Lindsay was under a lot of pressure from Frank. Justin pulled away a little bit this lap though. Justin again is another driver that seems to be improving week on week. Always finds himself in the top splits and just battens down the hatches and goes.
He's got himself a good points haul this week as well, with 184 in the last race I believe, so no doubt he's in a buoyant mood at the minute. Right, Matt Hannigan under lots and lots of pressure from Christian Tanahato behind as they head into the carousel. So Matt Hannigan up the inside, Tanahato tries to hang around the outside but has to bail out of it. Might get a good run now coming into turn 6, so Matt Hannigan covers it off and just about stays line astern as they come out of turn 6 into the toe.
Again, Justin Lindsay and Frank at it. Frank's made it through this time though. Just as I was following that, I'm sure I saw a car in the barriers. Not sure if we're missing anybody.
Under lots and lots of pressure again, so Christian comes up the inside. Matt Hannigan breaks late and deep and again manages to hold on that place even though Christian's up the inside there. So Hannigan's under pretty intense pressure at the minute, and Tanahato's really looking to make a move.
I think we may have lost Jonny Hagner. Just seems to have disappeared for me. Looks also like we've got someone who's had a slowdown there as well. It's Anthony Kopak.
And again, Matt Hannigan having to defend down the main straight as Christian comes back at him again round the outside of carousel. Is he going to be able to make it stick a little bit more this time? But no, he bails out of it quite early. Doesn't hang around the outside. But again, Hannigan has to defend now for turn 6 as well. And pretty much that looked like a replay of the previous lap. So Christian, we've seen others hang around the outside there. So perhaps he's not really seen others make that move. Maybe he's not really sure that he can make that momentum carry around the outside. But certainly the potential is there to try. And in the background we're seeing Wes Richards closing the whole time. He's going to be right on the back of these two within just a couple of laps or so.
Most definitely will. And just looking further up the field, looks like everybody's strung out, so our battles are down in this low mid-pack. Definitely, I'm not sure if Anthony's got a problem with his car, but he's coming under a lot of pressure from Paul Nelson.
Yeah, I think perhaps he must have picked up a little bit of damage somewhere. So he said he's dropped back quite considerably now from where he was running with Jonny Hagner a few moments ago. See if Nelson can get a good run down the straight. We'll really see any speed difference if there is damage from Kopeck. But no, he's got a pretty good top line speed. Nelson can't quite get alongside even in the draft.
In fact, Anthony has got some front wing damage. In fact, it looks like Anthony drives for Vortex. Don't know if Alex has that on the stream. Doesn't look like one of the normal Vortex liveries, but normally driving black and yellow if I remember. But Anthony is one of our guys who seems to find his life in this. Paul Nelson very close, pulls out. Just doesn't seem to have any top end speed though, does Paul?
Oh, but he tries to hang in there. Pretty close to him, sliding around through the inside of the corner. Still side by side as they come through the S's. Kopek's going to try and hang around the outside, but has to slot in. But he's going to get a run on Paul now. As you said, Paul's not got the top speed.
Paul's very defensive already.
So let's see if Kopeck manages to try and hang around the outside like we saw Christian not managing to do the last couple of laps. And he tries, but runs a little bit too wide and has to back out of it. So really then our little battle that we had further up here for P9, P10 between Hannigan and Tanahatu's just cooled off a little bit as well. They're still pretty close, but we're not seeing that dicing each lap like we did a couple of laps ago. So really cycling through, it is just that little battle between Paul Nelson and Kopech, but Kopech's really dropped off now that Nelson's managed to get by with that front wing damage. So really, we've not got a huge amount going on. I was really looking forward to a great race here at Watkins this week, and everyone is just strung out massively, just like you said earlier, Dean. So our saving grace is our one-stop strategy at least, and seeing how that affects. We're on to lap 19 now for Marty Pasella up at first position. So another 6 or 7 laps and I'd expect to start seeing people coming in. I wouldn't have thought much earlier, if any, than that. And hopefully that just shuffles things up a little bit at least.
Kopech has dropped way off the battle with Paul. I'm not sure if he's had a little incident or anything. It seems the closest battle that we've got maybe is Justin Lindsay and Frank still, as well as like you're following Matt and Christian. But as you're saying, it's nothing really much going on other than a little battle here and there. Coming up to lap 20 for these guys, so would we be expecting them in the pits anytime soon, or are they going longer?
Well, as I was saying, I think we can expect another 5 or 6 laps really before many, if any, people come in. They're all going to go for a longer first stint, I would think, based on how the previous races have gone. So anywhere from laps sort of 26 to 30 really is what we'd expect, and go for that short stint, that quick blast at the end. So now we're on to lap 20 then. Quick run through the standings again since we've got plenty of time. Marty Pasella, P1. He's pulled quite a gap now really on Stephen Michaels. So he's 5.2 seconds ahead of Stephen Michaels. So he's shown his dominance. It'd be interesting to see if he's a little bit lighter maybe than Michaels, and whether anything develops between the two of them after the pit stops. But yeah, Stephen Michaels is second. Tommy Nielsen then in third. He's a further 5 seconds or so behind Stephen Michaels. Jan Zalowski, not that much further behind Tommy Nielsen, maybe another, say, 4 or 5 seconds. So Jan Zalowski in fourth. In fifth we have Jonas Nekkarinen. In sixth we have Mancusi. In seventh we have Brun Hansen. In eighth we have Hunter Manley, still all on his own, nobody around at all. In ninth we have Hannigan, and Tanahato in 10th has just dropped back a little bit more still. Where's Richards? I thought he was going to really gain on these two cars in front quite a lot, but he's not really made any progress, so he's in 11th still. 12th we have Frank Levick, with Justin Lindsay then fairly close behind in 13th, Paul Nelson in 14th, and that's going to leave us with Anthony Kopech in 15th, Scott McIntyre in 16th, and everybody else is a lap down. I think that only leaves us with Montanez a lap down in 17th.
Yeah, Scott is a name I've personally not seen before, but he looks like he's driving for TNT Motorsports.
Yeah,
good friends Troy Schultz.
See him in second splits quite often, so he's just scraped into his top split. Perhaps his iRating's just had a nice little bump recently, but yeah, I often see him in our second split races. Right, let's have a quick think about an onboard lap, I think. Who shall we find today? Let's have a lap with Tommy Nielsen next time by. I was saying that he was looking quite sideways and quite oversteery at the beginning of the race. It'll be interesting to see if that's smoothed out and calmed down as his fuel level has burnt off.
Seems to be something definitely wrong with Anthony.
Yeah, you said you saw some front wing damage on him, right? So I don't think we quite picked up where he caught that, but yeah, it's cost him a fistful of positions.
Still lapping in the 21s though, so consistent 21s as well at that. So
right then, so Tommy Nilsson coming through the final corner, about to start the next lap as he goes over the start finish line. Turn 1, hard on the brake, well, just a tap on the brakes even, and into third, fourth gear, running very, very wide over the outside there. That's the normal line to take. Completely flat now through the S's. He's just going to be full throttle all the way until he gets to the carousel at the end of this long, long straight. So really in that first sector, it's just turn 1. That's the only actual bit of adjustment that you need to make. Right, into the carousel, so quick into the entry here. Just down 1 or 2 gears, try and hold this tight line on the right. Don't tend to let it come all the way out to the left necessarily. Turn 6, down a couple of gears again, hug the curb on the left. Be careful of the car sliding on the exit. Into the hairpin now, you can see how much of a camber there is on the hairpin there, so you can really carry a lot of momentum as he enters and let it pull you around all the way through. Next into turn 8, one of the slowest corners on the circuit, down into first gear. Very, very easy just to run a little bit wider, and in the trickiest corner on the circuit, as you come over the crest, the back of the car wants to step out from you on the entry and on the exit as well. Completely flat now through the penultimate corner, and then we're going to need a little lift down a gear, avoid the curb on the inside, run over the curb on the outside, and that's a lap already at Watkins Glen. So yeah, that first half of the lap so quick, and really just a couple of corners at the end that are a little bit slower and a little bit more to do, but it's commitment really that rewards quickest cars here at Watkins Glen. So really then, yeah, we're just waiting for these last few laps to tick by until the pit stops start to kick in, and we can see if we get any variation. Our only real vague battle we've got on the whole circuit at the minute is between Frank Levick in 12th and Justin Lindsay in 13th. So Justin's managed just to close the gap a little bit of Frank since the last time we saw. They ran identical lap times in the previous lap, and Justin's got a lot more top speed in the draft there coming down the main straight, so he's closing the whole time. So Justin Lindsay just needs to stay, this sort of distance now from Frank coming through the remainder of the lap, and focus on getting a cleaner run through turn 1 as he can, and he could be in for a good shout then down into the carousel next time by.
yeah, most definitely, but he is prone to the odd little mistake. He's Justin. He has a little bit of a twitch actually on the entry to that one. Like I said earlier, he's definitely improving more and more, he's Justin. It's a good runner to the final corner, as we have a car in the pits. That's
going to be
Wes
Richards, yeah.
So he's come on just before Q, lap 25.
Yeah, and so Justin wasn't really able to keep that gap that he had through the last half of the lap to Frank in front, so he's going to have to close that ground again in the slipstream, and isn't quite going to get close enough, I don't think. So yeah, everybody's just hot lapping on their own at the minute, doing their own little time trials. So Marty Pasella way off in the distance, Stephen Michael's just coming out of turn 1. The rest of the cars are barely over the start-finish line.
Definitely, this is the closest battle on the track. Gets ever so closer each lap, does Justin.
Yeah, it's close as we've seen him now since we've been watching. So again, he needs to not try and make a move coming through this last section of lap, and just stick as close as he can into turn 1. So yeah, much closer this time by. So he just needs to be quite gentle on the entry and just get as good an exit as he can. Like he was just a touch wide maybe on the apex, so he's just lost that bit of momentum and he's dropped, as back to where he was on the previous lap really.
Yeah, maybe a touch too cautious. Always is difficult actually turn one if you're right behind somebody.
It is, yeah. You've got to just allow for that dirty air that you're following and your timing. Then perhaps is just affected slightly. And as you said, if you're knowing that you just need to focus on getting a clean exit, then you can, as you said, overcompensate slightly, be a bit too cautious perhaps going in, which may have been the case. Right, so on to lap 26 now. So it's from now on really that we can expect to see some cars starting to come in, although we have had Wes Richards in a bit early, as we said, but nobody's coming in this time by so far.
In fact, Lars is.
There we go. So Bryn Hansen's the first to blink then. Yeah, he's going to perhaps lose out a little bit to the cars up behind. Hunter Manley in as well. So the two ARAC drivers both pitting on the same lap 27, or end of lap 26, beginning of 27.
As well as Christian as well. Frank and Justin stay out. Marty's just coming round the final few corners. Let's see if he jumps in as well.
Yeah, he does. So Marty Patella, first of the leaders to pit at the end of lap 27. Looks like it was a clean entry into the pit lane, hit onto the speed limiter.
Stephen's gone through. Next up, Tommy Nelson.
Tommy Nelson pits as well. Yeah. What about Jan Zalowski behind, coming around in P4? He pits also. So yeah, most of the cars then pitting on the same lap, end of lap 27. What have we got next? Eunice Nikarinen.
Mikael comes in. So now it's just a race off the pit lane.
So hopefully then, we've got a little bit of variety between the cars. I think we expect most other people in at the end of this lap, I would think, but perhaps we're going to see a little bit of groupings coming through now. So we're going to be seeing how much longer Stephen Michaels can go on his first stint worth of fuel, as he didn't pit along with Marty Patella. So Stephen Michaels coming by at the end of a lap now, and he doesn't pit yet, so he continues by for another lap. So every lap that he can carry on, he's going to be gaining second and a half maybe per lap. And last time we looked, he was sort of 5-6 seconds or so behind Marty Patella, so we may feel we may find these two guys ending up pretty close together maybe.
And then comes Eunice. Karen Zoom. Along comes Marty. Regains position 2.
Yeah, next car up is going to be Matt Hannigan, so we'll see if he dives in this lap. And he does, Matt Hannigan in as well. So the only car continuing by so far was Stephen Michaels, only one person not to pit, not those lead cars.
Jan stays out as well. Looks like we've got some damage actually. Mikael, oh, very close through the last two corners. Mikael's got a very bent front wing. Looks like he's got some steering damage as well. It also seems Justin Lindsay's jumped in.
And Stephen Michaels continues round for one more lap.
Not sure what quite happened actually. Alex rightly says Michele's out. Let's just have a quick look back, see what happened. Looks like he was racing with Justin Lindsay. Justin on the inside of the carousel. And then down entering the boot. All seems fine. Ah, there you go. On the actual toe of the boot, Justin went to cut up the inside. Mikel was covering it on. Had the brakes on early.
Stephen Michaels goes around for one more lap, so this is a big amount of time now that Stephen Michaels is going to be gaining. I think we're going to see him and Marty Patella right on top of each other when he finally does come out of pits. Oh, he's just got held up a little bit there by Wes Richards as they come out with the S's. Wouldn't have cost him too much time, I don't think.
Maybe a little bit of team orders actually from Marty.
Yeah, so Marty Patella at the minute is exactly 25.5 seconds behind Stephen Michaels, so that really does sound like when Stephen Michaels finally comes back out after his pit stop, they're going to be very close together. So, we've yet to see everything entirely shake out, but unfortunately it doesn't really look like these pit stops are going to have generated any other battles apart from perhaps these first two cars. Here we go, Stephen Michaels finally pits at the end of lap 31, beginning of lap 32. We'll see if that's going to be enough for him to leapfrog or at least challenge Marty Patella through the second half of the race.
Marty's just coming out of the boot.
And Stephen Michaels just about getting to his pit box, so just stops now, and it's going to be there for 5 or 6 seconds or so. Alright, here we go. Stephen Michaels pulls away. It looks like Marty Patella's going to have that position, but Stephen Michaels is going to be a fair chunk closer than he was, so he's just going to be 2-3 seconds back. So I thought perhaps he was going to gain a little bit more time, thought perhaps he was going to be a bit closer, but he certainly gained some time.
I think maybe what helped Marty then was the draft from the back markers just in front though, maybe. Just made it past Paul Nelson. He's definitely breathing down his neck, is Stephen. Meanwhile, Tommy Nelson's quite the way back. Seems to be in a bit of a no man's land actually. Maybe another little battle that possibly could come together is Jan and Eunice. Saw that a little bit last week at Sebring. Now it seems like everybody's just strung out. The pit stops haven't held as early.
Stephen Michaels held up badly behind Paul Nelson there, coming through the S's, getting a little bit in the way. There was Paul Nelson, and now Stephen Michaels got to deal with Anthony Kopech a bit further up as well. So now it looks like all the pit stops are completed. Have a quick run through the standings. Again, don't think we've had too many changes. Oh, Stephen Michaels getting held up again by Anthony Kopech, I think. So Marty Patella in the lead, P1. Stephen Michaels finally gets past those map markers in P2. No doubt particularly impressed by having to deal with them. P3, Tommy Nielsen, miles behind those two World Championship drivers now. Jan Zaglowski in P4 with Eunice Nikarin in P5. So Eunice has closed up a fair chunk now on Jan compared to before the pit stops. 6 is Lasse Brun Hansen. and 7th we're going to have Hunter Manley. In 8th we have Matt Hannigan. So Hunter Manley and Matt Hannigan very, very close together now, certainly a lot closer than they were. So who was the winner out of those two? Matt Hannigan, I think. Hunter Manley was a fair bit down the road, I think. P9 is Christian Tanahatu, so he's lost out to Matt Hannigan. He's a good 5 seconds or so behind. And rounding out the top 10 is Wes Richards. He's not really progressed as far up field as we thought perhaps he might have.
He does, however, have Frank for a little bit of company though. He's the last guy on the lead lap, but Paul Nelson's definitely having a look here. Anthony Coburn, this is for position, don't forget, even though they are a lap down. Just behind we've got Justin Lindsay lurking in the background, maybe with a bit of damage. I'm sure time will tell. Paul's looking very squirrely. Seems to hold a tighter line, does Paul. Gets a good run off the final corner. Anthony's every step. Slight different line, but Paul's definitely in the toe.
Yeah, Anthony felt we need to go defensive there, but Paul doesn't really stick in his slipstream there, decides just to go his own line. So Stephen Michaels at the minute within 1.8 seconds of Marty Patella. So how have their lap times been the last couple of laps? Let's have a look. Basically identical then. So previous lap for Marty Patella was a 1:18.616, and for Stephen Michaels it was an 18.697. So Patella gaining half a tenth on that previous lap, almost completing another one. So we'll see how much of a difference there's going to be in this next one. But I think this is pretty much going to stay line astern unless there's a real either error from Marty Patella or unless he gets tangled up with back markers. Right, so Marty Patella over the start finish line. That time it was an 18.762, and for Stephen Michaels it was an 18.644. So lost half a tenth in the previous lap, gained a tenth in this one, net gain of half a tenth. Not going to really be enough to make too much of a difference.
No, this battle still continues between Anthony and Paul Nelson. Paul seems to really struggle actually, top end speed. What's the gap between Jan and Eunice looking like?
Yeah, pretty much as it was. I think perhaps Eunice has dropped back a little bit from Jan, but not too much difference. So there's currently a couple of seconds, 2 seconds between Jan Zalowski and Eunice Nikarinen. So I'm not really seeing much movement there, I don't think. Jan Zalowski on the last lap got a 1:19.297, and for Eunice it was a 19.178. So just a tenth quicker on that last lap was Eunice. And we're down to 7-8 laps to go.
We are indeed. Maybe not brought us as much entertainment as we'd have thought.
No, we had a real corker really last week at Sebring, didn't we, with all of those 23, 24 cars getting through the first couple of laps and giving us a lot of cars to commentate on. I mean, how many people we got out here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars out, mostly in the first lap, and a couple of stragglers from later on. So that's leaving us with 16 runners. Yeah, it's a reasonable amount still, but everybody's pretty staggered through the whole track really. Do you know what, just a good point that was just made in Spectator Chat I just saw there. Stephen Michaels, we said a minute ago, is teammates with Tommy Nilsson. Well, Stephen Michaels doesn't need to worry about points at all for this race, or he shouldn't be, you would think. Whereas Tommy Nilsson, of course, is one of the drivers looking for those top 10 pro positions. So Tommy Nilsson's, way back from Stephen Michaels, but could we see Stephen, ensure that Tommy Nilsson gets the maximum possible points available? Well, we've got a few laps to find out still.
We've actually got Paul Nelson looking up the inside. And he makes it through into turn 1. That's past Anthony. So Paul's now through. Let's see if Anthony can bring some pressure back as Paul's trying to break the toe a little bit. Tommy Nelson coming on to the back of Justin Lindsay. Not for position though, just to put Justin behind him. And that little gap.
I've just switched back to Hunter Manley in 7th with Matt Hannigan in 8th. They're looking as close as they've been so far since they completed their pit stops on the previous lap. Hunter Manley managed a 20.1. Whereas Matt Hannigan managed a 19.7, so he gained 4 tenths just on that last lap alone. So I think really this is our next potential for a little bit of entertainment. Thank God it's been long enough coming. And let's see if Matt Hannigan can keep this gap now as they come through out of turn 1 in a few moments' time and get a good run through the main straight.
Another little one that I've just actually flipped to was Wes and Frank for P10 and 11. Frank was right on the gearbox of Wes, entering the boot, but he's had to pull out of it.
Yeah, just
going to bridge that gap again.
It just looks like Hannigan made a little bit of an error through the second half of the lap there, so he's dropped back a little bit now from Hunter. Hunter put a good lap in that last one anyway, so 19.5. Matt Hannigan a 19.9. So after gaining 4 tenths in the previous lap, he's gone and lost that whole amount of time again, so back to where he started.
Yeah, Hunter definitely reacting to the pressure. Hunter just missed out, if I remember, didn't he, last season?
Yeah.
Due to lack of tracks or something, maybe?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think he ran an entire season, so I think that's the first year he's really given it a proper shout, and still a long way to go, but he's got the pace to be there and thereabouts. The gap between Marty Patel and Stephen Michaels is down to a second now. So last time we looked, 1.8 seconds I seem to remember saying. So Stephen Michaels now is really going to be just catching a little bit of that draft, a little bit of that toe down the main straight. It'll be interesting to see how much pressure he's going to put Marty Patel under. On the last lap, Stephen Michaels was just over 2 tenths quicker. But time's running out. Lap 40 now out of 44.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too late. But they're definitely matching each other. Stephen's a little bit quicker. Again, maybe this little battle further back between Wes and Frank. Frank looks to the outside, coming out of the S's. Too wide now, coming into the carousel. Wes holds the inside. Frank now has the inside, thinks better of it, pulls back in. Wes not really showing what he can do.
No, just haven't seen the pace from him that we perhaps expected. I'm not sure how he got on yesterday in the World Championship race, or if he did attend, but yeah, we know he should be able to run at a stronger pace, I think, than perhaps battling with Frank Levitt there, who, you know, we often see at the top of the second splits maybe. Right, so back up front, Stephen Michaels continuing to close. He's getting towards half a second now behind Marty Patella, so he's going to be right in that draft, in that slipstream as they come down the main straight. Let's see what their lap times were for the previous lap. So Marty Patella, as he crosses the start finish line, managed to get an 18.402, and Stephen Michaels an 18.267, so he's gained another 1/10.5 just on that last lap. So I think we'll really see Michaels close now down this straight here.
In fact, as you predicted, Lee, Hunter and Matt are very close. I think they were too wide coming through the carousel. Hunter's just held on. And he's just coming to the exit of the boot to join the classic course. Again, another tricky corner to get right every time. I'm very close to those tyres.
So Stephen Michaels growing closer and closer to the back of Marty Patella, so he's within just a few tenths now as they come around the final corner. So we saw him gained a 1/10.5 the last time round. This time it was an 18.5 from Marty Patella, so a little bit slower, and 18.3 from Stephen Michaels. So here we go, Stephen Michaels should get a good run now coming down this main straight. Let's see how much difference is in the draft. Though Marty Patella's going to have perhaps a little bit of a toe from the back marker ahead, so that may just help him out a little bit as they come to the carousel. Right, here comes Stephen Michaels, closing. Going to deal with the back marker. He's not quite going to be close enough for a move yet, but he's right on his gearbox now coming through the carousel. Lap 43, so we've got one more lap after this one. This could be a little bit of a good finish for us.
Indeed it could. We seem to have 3 little battles now. One of them including the leaders. Michael's definitely pulled him in.
So Stephen Michaels' full attention has got to be purely...
Oh, Marty's gone!
He lost the rear on power coming through turn 8 there. Turn 8. So looks like he's parked it. That's it. Tried to turn it round. Too much damage perhaps. That's Marty Patella done. That's our great little finish over with before it started.
Pressure got to him.
So yeah, led from first lap, getting by in turn 1, all the way to the penultimate corner, penultimate lap of the race.
Seeing a replay.
Yeah, and it didn't look like anything was particularly wrong with the line, so I didn't see him clip the curb on the inside, didn't see him run out to the curb on the outside. He just got too hard too early on the power, it seems. And yeah, that really was that.
Definitely, as Alex has just picked up, was Frank still battling at it. See how the little one above it is going with Hunter.
Yeah, and those two, Frank Levick and Wes Richards, just about going to get one more lap to have this battle with Stephen Michaels behind on his final lap now, coming through the last couple of corners.
It looks like just above Hunter's responded to the pressure. So it's back to these two guys we go.
Right, so Stephen Michaels about to come through the final corner then, so that's a win for him. That's his second win here this week at the Glen. Handed to him a little bit at the end there by Marty Patella, but Stephen Michaels P1, he'll no doubt will be very, very happy with that. And it seems obviously there was no question in his mind about giving those points to Tommy Nilsson. So Tommy Nilsson's going to get second position, just about to come through the final corner now. So that's going to be a big haul of points for him, no matter what. P3 then, we're going to be having Jan Zalowski, He's just now coming through the final corner. 2 wheels on the grass coming into the entrance of the final corner there. Perhaps not the cleanest of entries, and Eunice Nickerin just behind in P4. So Eunice closed by a second or so in those last few laps. P5, we're going to Lasper and Hansen. That's going to be a good fistful of points for Lass as well there as he comes through the final corner. 5th place, he's going to be very, very happy with that, I'm sure. P6, Hunter Manley. So Eric Drivers 5th and 6th. That's a good result for us. Good fistful of points for these 2 guys going for their pro license for the first time. P7th, Matt Hannigan just behind, never managed to close that space, but stuck in there through the end of the race. Christian Tanahato is going to be finishing in 8th. Wes Richards looks like he's got the job done on Frank Levick, so that's 9th for Wes Richards and 10th for Frank Levick. Jorge Montanez is a lap down, and that is everybody done and dusted. Paul Nelson in 11th from there.
So, fireworks at the end of that one, Lee. A little disappointed it weren't all that the way through.
Yeah, so just closed in a little bit. It's a shame we didn't quite have our finale between Marty Patella and Stephen Michaels really battling away on that very last lap. But it's the way it goes sometimes. It's it was one of our more sedate races, shall we politely say, that we've had to cover this season so far. We've been spoilt a little bit perhaps with our decent run that we've had now that we've got our pit stop strategy coming into play compared to last season, where it's a little bit processional the majority of the time.
But then again, we do have Interlagos next week.
Yeah, Interlagos is going to be a great little track again for everyone. We're going to get a good turnout there, I'm sure, and fingers crossed we'll get some entertaining racing again. Right, so we're just going to have a little break, little adverts, and then we'll see who we get in for interviews.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Drivers, start your engines!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4, and the checkered flag, he wins his first NASCAR iRacing.
Okay, welcome back. So we've got a couple of drivers in the interview channel then ready to have a word with us. First of all, we're going to get Eunice Nickerin up into the channel and see how his race was, finishing in that 4th position. Good evening, Eunice. Congratulations on your 4th place finish. From us, it was a rather mediocre race overall. How was yours?
Good evening, guys. It was a decent one, and I was staying behind Jan pretty much whole race this time.
You managed to gain a little bit of time on Jan, I remember, at the pit stops, gained a good few seconds, and even in those last few laps you closed to just within a second or so as you crossed over the line, so you had the pace as you were going through.
Yeah, but my car appeared to be quite unstable when I got just behind 1 second behind Jan. So, and I think I made some little mistakes by myself as well. So I couldn't couldn't push close enough to try the overtake.
So as we've discussed before then, Eunice, your race pace and your race finishing position tending to be stronger than your qualifying pace. You managed to get through those first couple of laps relatively unscathed, it seems, starting from 11th. How are you feeling about moving on to Interlagos next week?
I like Interlagos. It's with this car I really like, and I don't have anything against it. Yeah, the first lap in Watkins today, it was pretty normal. Crashes here and there, and just you have to try to do everything as clean, but still not get caught in them. So
yeah, we don't.
Sometimes it's really tough. Yep.
Yeah, well, you've done well to get through it all today and managed to get a good points haul. 4th position was going to be a good result. Well, we look forward to seeing you as normal then next week at Interlagos, Eunice, and good luck getting a bit further up the grid in qualifying and having a good run at those podium positions.
Yeah, guys, have a good week, and have a good week, and see you later. See you next week.
Cheers, Eunice. Bye bye. Okay, next up then, we're going to have Tommy Nilsson, so finishing 2nd position to his teammate Stephen Michaels in 1st for Twister Racing. Good evening, Tommy. Congratulations on your 2nd position. That's going to be a great haul of points for you to keep you pushing for your pro licence. Hello, Tommy Nilsson. Perhaps we'll drag Tommy back in a little while and we'll see if he can have a word with us a little bit later. Otherwise then, who else have we got? Matt Hannigan waiting in the interview channel. We'll have a quick word with Matt. Good evening, Matt. How was... hello, sorry, jumping you up, catching you out there.
I didn't think you wanted to talk to me. But there you go.
Bit of patience, we've just got to go through one at a time to cycle through. 7th position for you today, Matt. That's a great result in the strength of field race for you.
Yeah, well, first time I've been in it. I was surprised. Got a bit lucky at the start, which was chaos, but survived, I guess, which is half the point.
And you had some good little battling towards the second half of the race, a little bit more with Hunter Manley in front. Just managed to close a little bit, but not quite enough to really challenge.
No, everything you gain in straight, I was sort of losing in the twisty bits, and then couldn't quite get close enough. I think it was just too quick for me.
And so with that 7th position finish then, Matt, that gained you 196 points. So that's is that going to be your highest ever points finish?
Yeah, I think it might just be,
Yeah, well, congratulations on that. It will be a good base to work for the rest of the season, hopefully.
Oh yeah, if I ever get in the top stop again.
Well, with results like that, where you get another boost to your iRacing, it's only going to increase your chances. So, no, congratulations. Getting through the carnage in the first lap. And,
yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yes, strong pace. It was good.
Cheers.
Cheers, Matt. Thank you very much. We shall see you at Interlagos next week. Shall we try Tommy again, since he's still in the ready for interview channel? Perhaps he hasn't given up. Hello, Tommy. We'll try again. Are you able to speak to us now?
Yeah, my microphone works now. I had the wrong push to talk.
No worries, all sorted. Well, I'm sure you probably heard me. I was saying congratulations for your 2nd place finish. Just finishing 2nd to your teammate for Twister Racing, Stephen Michaels. Big haul of points for you again this week. You're looking well on course for your pro licence.
Yeah, but I thought I was going to get like 3rd position. I didn't think I would be able to beat Marty or Steven. So what did happen to Marty anyway?
Marty just lost the rear coming out of turn 8, just under a little bit of pressure from Stephen Michaels, just spun up the rears. And that spat him into the wall, and that was it.
Oh.
So, something that we briefly discussed during the race, Tommy, obviously yourself and Stephen Michaels' teammates, you're running for your pro license. Stephen Michaels has already got that done and dusted. Is there any discussions within the team as to perhaps a little bit of team orders to make sure that you get the maximum amount of points available to help your cause?
No, I think I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna get first or second in the IGPS standings in the A class. But I'm not sure about Mohammed, so we haven't really talked about it. I'm just racing for fun now and hoping that Steven will perform in the bigger series.
Okay, good. Well, as you say, second place. Nice little bonus for you after those. After expecting to finish third with Marty Patella just in front. How are you looking forward to Interlagos next week, Tommy?
I haven't tried the track yet, but I think I'll just use my normal setup and do a little bit of tweaking. And usually Steven's setup is pretty good, but he doesn't have the same driving style as me, so I always have to change like 7 things on the car to make it work for me.
Well, at least you got a good base to start from. Well, good luck learning turn 1 next week at Interlagos and trying to figure out how to deal with that beast of a corner. And we no doubt will see you up at the sharp end again in the strength field race.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, so time is getting on a little bit now. We're going to very, very quickly speak to Frank Levick and then Paul Nelson, I think, and then that's going to be us wrapping up. So Frank Levick now finishing in 10th position. I suspect that's going to be his strongest result in the strength field race that he's been in. Good evening, Frank. Congratulations on your 10th place finish there in the strength field race. That's a good fistful of points for you. Good to be happy with that.
Oh yeah, this is my second time in the stream, so I was pretty happy considering what happened last week.
And so a good fistful of points for you as well then, Frank. A couple of good little battles for you between yourself and Wes Richards towards the second half of the race, but otherwise, how was your race from the start?
Yeah, I couldn't get around, I believe his name's pronounced Wes. I tried and tried again, but pretty good. I guess he's pretty good, so I couldn't get around him.
Well, it's got to be nice for you seeing that you're competing and battling with a World Championship licensed driver, so congratulations on that. Right, we're going to need to quickly move on, Frank, as time's getting on, but congratulations again on that 10th place, and we shall see you next week, I expect, at Interlagos.
Hopefully, if my IR is good enough.
Yeah, well, you got a nice little bonus again tonight, so well done on that, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
Right, so just to quickly wrap up then, let's grab Paul Nelson in before we need to all get finished up. Evening, Paul. We saw a little bit of you at different times during the race, but how was your race at the Glen?
Oh, hi guys. Sorry, am I in the interview?
You are indeed.
I'm sorry, got a bit unprepared. No, it's an exciting race. Plenty of action there at the start, and we're all nose to tail for a while. It was good fun. Let's see. I think Anthony had a problem, Anthony Kopak, and I managed to catch up onto his tail and get past him. I think he must have had a bit of a problem. And in my pits, I come into the pit stop and I've gone straight past my pit because I had my head down concentrating on other things. And so I've gone straight through my pit and lost a bit of time. But luckily, so I had to pass Anthony twice, so that made for an enjoyable afternoon or morning.
Yeah, I think Anthony had a bit of front wing damage before his pit stop, so yeah, I think that's the problem that you were seeing. Decent little collection of points for you, 150 points for the week, Paul. That's one of your perhaps stronger points finishes, is it, so far this season?
Yeah, not sure, I haven't been counting, but it's just happy to finish the race and stay out of trouble for the most part. I had an interesting race on Friday with the Australian Strength Field race, and so it was nice to back it up here today with a full race distance and no major incidents. I was happy with that. The car, obviously, I didn't gear it. It was geared wrong, and I hadn't spent enough time with the setup, so I paid the price for that in the race, not being competitive. But it was good fun.
Okay, great. Well,
Thanks,
we shall
guys.
see you, I expect, next week at Interlagos, and Paul. Thank you.
I hope so. Bye.
Right, and so this is going to be wrapping up our stream for tonight. We'll have a quick run through the sponsors, thanking very much to, first of all, GT Omega Racing for being the title sponsor for Apex Racing UK and helping out our various other endeavours with GP260 series and V8 supercars, so thanks a lot to them, of course. Thanks also to the Apex Racing Lead, ARL, providing the hosting for our series and all of the background work that goes on to providing the streams as well. And also then to Sim Garage. I'm going to keep calling it Garage, not Garage. I'm never going to change. You can have a look at his website for any little button boxes that you might be interested in at similar items. And don't forget, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook and all of those normal sort of places as well. So, bit of a tough one for us tonight then, Dean, really, wasn't it? So, should we have a quick think about a driver of the day? What do you reckon? Any names spring out for you?
For that late charge at the end, Stephen Michaels.
Yeah, he made a strategy work. He challenged Marty Patella and punished and pressured him even into that mistake. But I think 5th and 6th places for Lasper Hansen and Hunter Manley, two of their strongest points finishes, I think. So perhaps I'll give that to Lasper Hansen for driver of the day. So congratulations to him. Right, guys, next week Interlagos, 6 o'clock GMT, 7 o'clock British summertime. We will be endeavouring to provide Grand Am coverage as well next week. Weren't quite able to this week, unfortunately. So catch up on the latest happenings on our various threads to make sure you know what's going on. And myself and Dean and Alex in the cameras, we'll see you all next week, I'm sure. Thank you very much.